The top three cheapest cars currently in America. Well, in this video, I want to talk about the cheapest cars currently in America because what you should value is a reliable vehicle. A reliable vehicle will get you from your house to your job. A reliable vehicle is a must to make money because if you don't have reliable transportation, you are going to you're going to mess up your money. You're not going to be able to do side hustles. You couldn't do Uber, DoorDash. You couldn't get to your main job. You couldn't travel. You are dependent on someone else. Now, yes, you could take an Uber. You could take a taxi to your job or somewhere else. But if you ever traveled on a bus, if you ever took a taxi or Uber, look, you're waiting for someone else. You're driving on their terms. You're driving at their speed. So me personally, I like to have my own car. I like a reliable car. I don't like to be bothered with a lot of maintenance. And I like independence. And owning a car is a huge form of independence. So let me stop beating around the chase. The number one cheapest car currently in America is a Chevy Spark. And I looked at a Chevy Spark a few years ago when I started downsizing my life. But I didn't go to the Chevy Spark. The Chevy Spark is currently listed at approximately $15,000. That is the cheapest car in America as of 2019 on average. You could find some exceptions, but for the most part, if you research it, the cheapest car is $15,000, a Chevy Spark. It's a cute little, like almost hatchback type thing. Gets good gas mileage. I think it gets close to 30 miles per gallon, something like that. And if you finance that, okay, because if you're looking at the cheapest cars, look, money is an issue, or you're cheap. And there's nothing wrong with that because I could be a little bit cheap myself. Hey, I was looking at the Chevy Spark, right? So if you didn't want to pay cash, and most people don't pay cash, if you financed it and you went to the longest possible finance length, how many years you're going to finance something, I think the longest you can is 72 months, which I believe is 6 years. So if you finance that, if you got a 3% interest rate, which is low, you'd have to have pretty good credit. And you put nothing down, which you'd also have to have good credit. But I just want to give you some scenario. You'd pay approximately $228 per month. But for 6 years or so, as long as you didn't drive nonstop across the entire country and just do a loop, for 6 years, you'd pretty much have a reliable vehicle. And you'd be able to get to work. You'd be able to travel. And even if you wanted to live out of it, you can live out of a Chevy Spark. I put the back seats down. I lay down in it, and I'm about 6 foot tall. So if you can put the back seats down and the front passenger seat forward, you can live in anything. Now, most people won't live in their car. But most people will buy a used junker for a couple $1,000s, and in 6 months, the thing will cause them a headache and more money, and they'll get discouraged, and they'll never have independence. Now, look, I don't recommend that you finance a car if you're not going to work. If you're not going to work and you're not going to make money, look, you're screwed anyway. Because financial freedom all starts with you having a sustainable income, not just cutting expenses. So there's one thing about being cheap, and there's another thing about being lazy. So if you're cheap and lazy, look, you're screwed, okay? But if you're on hard times and you're trying to reestablish your life and you're willing to work, I believe, in my opinion, you should finance a new car. Now, in some scenarios, I don't want to give bad financial advice because I know debt is not wisdom. But, I don't want to see you buy a $2,000 junker, okay, and not be able to get to work. But I don't want to see you finance a new car and not go after work. So you decide for you. I'm just sharing some thoughts. The number 2 cheapest car is a Nissan Versa. Okay, it's like a sedan, not sexy. I think the Chevy Spark looks nicer, but it's listed at $15,900. So, about another $1,000 to get you a Nissan Versa. I personally like the Chevy Spark better, so I would go to the cheapest. If it looks better, I think the Chevy Spark looks better. But you have to sit in the car, you have to drive the car and experience it. And the number 3 cheapest car currently in America is the Mitsubishi Mirage. To me, it's another ugly car. For me, and I think the Mitsubishi Mirage is listed at like $16,200. Again, it all depends what dealerships, but I just looked at a couple articles. So the top 3 cheapest cars are the Chevy Spark, that's the cheapest. The Nissan Versa is $1,000 more, and the Mitsubishi Mirage. So anywhere between $15,000 for the cheapest car, which would be $228 per month if you financed it for 6 years. Anywhere from there all the way up to a couple $1,000s more for Mitsubishi Mirage. So for me, I say get the Chevy Spark. If you're working but you need a reliable vehicle and you have some type of credit, if you don't need a cosigner, I almost got caught in that trap. I couldn't get a loan at one time. My credit was bad and I almost had a cosigner, and I'm glad it didn't work out because now I got screwed. I eventually found a car dealership that would give me a loan on a new car, not a used car, because a new car, it's better collateral. But I got screwed in like 22% interest rate. Now, is that ignorant? Is that stupid? Hey, I rather have my independence. I paid it off. I'd rather have my independence and work and be the only one responsible for my future than have a family member sign as a co-signer or friend. So you do what you want, guys. You want to buy junkers and, you want to live like that, that's fine. Now, look, if you're destitute, if you got no option, if you can't get a loan, then you do what you got to do. But I believe you should take a serious look, if you're working and willing to work, at buying a new cheap car, okay? And, go from there. Because a reliable form of transportation is your way to make money and sustain making money. Your way to do a main job and side jobs. It's your way of independence. It's your way of travel, okay? You don't want to be stuck on the side of the road adding coolant. Total disaster. But you have to evaluate your own personal situation. These are some general thoughts, okay? Because I wanted to share with you what it would be if you really did decide to buy new. Your 3 cheapest options are a Chevy Spark for $15,000, a Nissan Versa for $15,900, and a Mitsubishi Mirage for about $16,200. What will you do? Leave a comment below, okay? Let me know if you buy used or new. Let me know what your thoughts are. And then click that thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe if you're not, and stay as positive as possible in a negative world. Peace and love.